following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. I'm Nico Haan. This is where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
Because we want to regain our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms, too. And I'm Paige Clarke.
And it's a beautiful day here in downtown Clearwater, 45 degrees. Going to be one of the coolest mornings we've had, but it's nice and crisp. The sun is shining, and we're feeling really good.
Absolutely. If you have any questions when you listen to our show, please give me a call. You can contact me at Paige@TFNN.com.
And you can reach me at Nico@TFNN.com, and we're taking your phone calls at 877-927-6648. You know, last night I was in the sauna, and I was listening to a talk with Mark, I think his name is Schatzker,
looks like.
And he wrote the book that's called The Dorito Effect. And it was really interesting because he denoted the story of how Frito-Lay came up with the Doritos itself. I think it was the Lay company itself before they mixed with Frito. And the president of the company, I believe, was down in the Baja, Mexico with his children. And they stopped at this little roadside stand, and they had these little chips there shaped into little triangles. And they were really good, and the kids were eating them. He says, man, this would make a nice, instead of a potato chip. And so he went back to Lay, and they came up with this chip, and it was salted and everything, and it just never really went over. Until he got a buddy of his who was one of the first people that were getting natural flavors.
A food scientist.
Yeah, food scientists were getting natural flavors from food. They didn't have any nutrition in it, but they had the flavor exactly the way, and he wanted kind of a taco flavor to it, and that's how Doritos were born, and they went crazy. And people were wondering how can, you can't stop eating these things. And of course, nowadays we have many, many different foods that have this effect. But one of the things I noticed that he mentioned in nature, he says that flavor never appears without nutrition. Flavor means nutrition.
Like color, too.
Like color. And he was talking about, he was noticing on his grandfather's farm when the cows were eating, they would pick the primest little part of the grass, but on certain days, they would eat different kind of grass. They'd go over to the clover. And they'd know just what to do. If they weren't feeling quite well, they'd be eating something else.
Right.
And you've often seen maybe a cat or a dog eating grass.
If they've got a tummy ache, they go out and eat the grass. And then we're like, why? We think that they have a tummy ache because they ate the grass. The reason is they ate the grass so they could get whatever was in their tummy out.
Yeah. So this really got me to thinking. I ordered the book and started reading the book. And, our food has really changed. We've got a lot of flavors in there, but we don't have the nutrition. And this is part of the reason that people overeat. Because animals in the wild don't eat until they're stuffed. They eat until their nutrition is met. And that's kind of a natural reaction.
Completely agree with you. And, that's a lot of what I was talking about. I had a little talk yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that, obesity is just another manifestation of malnutrition.
Yeah.
We keep eating because the internal wisdom is looking for that nutrition.
Yeah.
And it isn't there.
You're right.
It isn't there in the American food system.
Yeah, and I've often heard the people who are really into the food industry saying that when there's a disaster, a natural disaster someplace, we go in there with this food that we give them. It's really starvation food, grains and things like that. And what happens in the next decade from a place like Bangladesh or a place like Haiti is the people become starving, but they're full and they get fat. So they're malnutrition, yet they're gaining weight.
Well, that's That's
And
pretty much America.
That's pretty much America.
That
and
is.
This is really... Now, a perfect case is illustrated in an old study that began in 1926, conducted by a Chicago pediatrician named Clara Davis. She parented 15 babies who had never been exposed to ordinary foods in their adult life. And for 6 years, she let them eat whatever they wanted, in any order, from a list of 34 foods including water, potatoes, corn, meal, barley, lamb, beef, bone jelly, carrots, turnips, haddock, peaches, apples, fish, orange juice, bananas, brains, milk, and cabbage. Quite a good selection there. They chose balanced diets, sometimes strange one. One child ate liver and drank rickets. And drank a pint of orange juice. Skip the line there. Sorry about that. Their preferences changed often. Another child who had started off with rickets was early on given a glass of cod liver oil as medicine. Over the course of his illness, never encouraged, he drank it irregularly and in various amounts of his own free will and until he was better.
Isn't that interesting? Because as you know, rickets is a kind of a vitamin D deficiency. So
I thought it was C.
No.
It's D. Okay.
No, scurvy is C.
Scurvy, you're
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Rickets is...
yeah, you're right.
And so our bodies intuitively, when not led by this false kind of food science, kind of knows what it needs. I sent you that video of my grandson.
Yes.
The way when he sees me, it's like fish oils. DHA capsules.
Yeah, exactly.
Fish oil.
And he always eats two, right?
He has to have one free chant.
And one free chant. Very cool.
So, but... that is a really important nutrient, DHA, for growing brains and minds. So, we would think that we should never discourage. Somebody came by and they were like, oh, he likes fish. I was like, do not make that face. Do not make that face. He loves it.
That's right.
He enjoys it.
Yeah, because children really look to us for their expressions, their future expressions. So you see a spider and you go, ah! Well, you're teaching your child to do that instead of calmly saying, well, there's a spider. You can let it go. You can put it outside. You can kill it. You can do whatever you want. But just know that your child is looking to you for its future guidance just by watching you, not by what you say.
Yes.
It's by action.
Not what you say, it's what you do. Here's a great point on this article. All over nature, animals limit their meal size not because they're stuffed and couldn't possibly eat another bite, but because they've hit a secondary compound wall. They've met their nutritional needs beyond calories. Synthetic flavoring technology makes bland ingredients attractive without supplying the myriad of nutrients that we need. That's what I was saying.
Yes.
That I believe is why we are such an obese nation. There is no nutrients in our food.
Right.
The twin forces of flavor dilution and fake flavor have short-circuited the biological basis for mutable appetite.
And this is also an economic thing. It's much cheaper to put the nutrients in the taste only and not put the nutrients of value in the food. But the important thing is today that the author here says, he doesn't say, let's stop the agriculture the way it is. Let's just change. We have the ability to put the flavor in, so let's just put the flavor in with the nutrition. Kind of like what you suggested when we made the Primal Edge. You said you're going to love the taste of this because the nutrition is there, but also how it tastes. So when you taste that Primal Edge, it tastes really earthy and good.
And it really does, considering it has, a rich source of B vitamins, which we need every day. And sometimes that's not everyone's favorite, but I think we've done a great job to make it very palatable and easy to do.
That's for sure. So pick that up, folks. Only $89 gets you all the nutrition you need on a daily supplement. And also pick up the Health Signals newsletter. And our phone number here is
877-927-6648.
And that's the way we roll. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive.
We take it every morning. Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back, folks. I got a little email from ML, and he says, "Hi, Nico. I had a white powder that I mixed with water to alleviate upset stomach issues. I'm not finding it in my notes, and I don't recall what it was. I wonder if you would know. I'm thinking it was L-glutamine. Does that sound familiar at all?" And to me, the L-glutamine, you mentioned that it was for repairing the stomach walls.
Well, it's one of the isolated amino acids that many times we'll see running kind of low in people that have had digestive or gut lining issues, which is pretty much everybody.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, it's quite possible. It's really involved in the gastrointestinal health, and many times when we suggest a leaky gut will really boost that amino acid. Of course, I prefer to have amino acids in a sequence of having all the essential amino acids.
Mm-hmm.
We have those in the Primal Edge. We've added all the amino acids. I have it in the moringa that I use, the moringa oleifera, perfect source of amino acids. But it is a good
I know it's
powder,
been used for bodybuilding and things like that, too. So it's a supplement that's widely used. I was thinking when I have a stomach ache, I do one of three things. If I feel like it's something that maybe my fat is bothering me, I'll have some HCl, hydrochloric acid.
Correct.
If it's something that I think I ate and it's not too good for me, I'll take some charcoal to bind it up and get it out of there. Otherwise, I may take some baking soda to alleviate my stomach. So that's kind of what I was thinking on that. I just wondered what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of information there, but usually if the stomach, a lot of people use the word "I have a stomach ache," and then if you ask them to point where their stomach hurts, they're down here, lower intestine, or is it up here? Is it kind of more towards the gallbladder?
Yeah.
So they should say, when they say I have abdominal aching, then we can kind of get a better idea where it actually is. Yeah. Based on where the pain is. Usually it's a case that the body's reacting in a stressful manner to some type of digestive stress.
Right.
So, I do think that L-glutamine is a great amino acid for rebuilding, and so I think that maybe if it was working for them, they should try it again.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay.
Speaking of healing connective tissue, we tend to and especially in the bodybuilding world, I think people tend to think protein, 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 and I submit and believe that people overdo protein.
Yeah, I agree
it's very
with that.
stressful and aging to our kidneys. We need well-placed protein and well-placed, quite small amounts. It's really all those other things, like we always share with people, that our ancestors thrived because they nourished themselves by eating the whole part of the animal, and that included organs and glands,
Right.
and the connective tissue and so forth. And the muscle meat, as you've often said, was often kind of the scrap. It was the other stuff that was prized.
Yeah.
So what is some of this other stuff? One of these other stuffs is the collagen matrix.
Yeah, and that's, we always talk about bone broth.
Correct. I mean, nothing better than enjoying a homemade bone broth to get that nutritious. But we've also recommended, we like to think that we were right on top of things, maybe even ahead of Dave Asprey when he came out with collagen in his bulletproof coffee.
Yeah.
We were already doing it in our Tiger Brew. Great Lakes gelatin is one you can buy on Amazon or something like that.
Any kind of good beef gelatin from grass-fed beef is really good.
And
for
it
you.
melts in warm drinks, and so you can put it into your coffee. You will not even taste it. And really, a tablespoon or so is equal to about 10-15 grams of protein.
Yeah.
So but it's the protein that's heavy in a different strand of amino acids
Like
than
the
what you find in
glycine in there, and
what you usually find in muscle meat. Maybe
Yeah.
we could talk about, we don't make enough glycine to cover our
this
body's
article
needs.
that I came across was Mark's Daily Apple, and he had 10 reasons why we don't. And one of the first ones is we don't make enough glycine to cover our body's needs. So this is why our ancestors naturally went for the bones and the bone broths, and getting that gelatin out there, and maybe some of the marrow and things like that.
It looks like we run a deficit of about 7 grams based on the way our diet is. And why is that? Because we're not utilizing these bones and making bone broths.
Yeah.
This can be very important for anyone that that has rheumatoid type of arthritis.
Sure.
They start to take the bone broth or adding the collagen, they're going to see real benefits.
I add it to my coffee, but I also add it to my little protein shake with the grass-fed whey. And
I think it's a fantastic, if people are buying these protein powders, which we know should be grass-fed and they should be concentrates, not isolates.
Not isolates, definitely.
And then, but to have 2 canisters, one is your collagen protein with your high glycine mix, and then kind of mix them or alternate them different days.
And I add a little MCT oil in there just to get a little extra fat that burns really good. So
I liked this one. We're wasting half the animal otherwise,
there's
like we
no
just
doubt.
said.
And we do that. You go into a butcher shop, if there is a butcher shop around these days, and you see the hanging meat. But if you really go into the back room, you'll find all these other things are there, and I'll bet you they're making little things out of those things. And that's what I really want. It's the muscle meat is fine, it's delicious, but when you add the collagen, and when I'm making these pork roasts and things, I'm really looking for the beef tips and the pork tips, and because that has all that collagen in there, the nice chewy stuff. It tastes so good. The fat's in
Like
there.
it says, most people only eat the muscle meat and ignore the other stuff, which includes bones, connective tissue, cartilage, tendons, and other collagenous material. The other stuff ends up in pet foods or used by other industries.
Yeah, we're doing it backwards. At least our pets will be good. I don't know. Most of the grains are in there too.
Unfortunately, a lot of pet foods are not getting that good stuff, but we could be eating it and being a lot healthier.
But that does really balance out our meat intake. If we take our little bit of our meat and add this to it, then we're really balancing things out. It's so easy to add into soups and everything else too.
This is interesting. Keeping the methionine, which is actually a B vitamin, high while adding glycine, it abolishes the reduced longevity. A lot of people have talked about that people on high methionine, the amino acid most prevalent in muscle meat, die earlier than people on low. That might be some evidence that people have used for not eating meats.
We had so many different studies saying that the low-protein diets are the ones where you get longevity out of them.
And maybe it's if we were eating the right parts of the animal.
Exactly.
Maybe we should balance this a little bit.
I think so, because it's certainly what I'm doing.
Yeah, like it says, it might explain the meat disease links, because could it be that a lot of people have perceived that eating the muscle meat is the thing to do, but in fact, maybe, like you said, we should be eating the stuff that's going someplace else.
It says elderly men who supplemented with collagen experience greater anabolic responses to resistance training than elderly men who didn't take any collagen.
That's
That's huge.
That's a huge point. Yeah.
It also improves your sleep quality. There's a lot of benefits to it. Of course, it's great for your joints. I notice as I take the collagen, the nails, my hair is thick. My hairdresser's always getting those little scissors out that, don't just cut part of the hair to thin it out. She's always thinning out my hair. I'm saying, what's going on here? But it's good for your skin. It's good for your joints.
And it's like it says, it's protein sparing because eating gelatin reduces the amount of muscle meat that you need to maintain your lean muscle mass. I mean, anytime you can get complete proteins. Again, I love that about the Moringa oleifera. It's a complete protein. All the amino acids are there.
Right.
Not incomplete.
Not partial, yeah.
And, that's one of the reasons people eat that all over the world in Ayurvedic science. To maintain lean muscle, particularly where there's been AIDS and HIV.
Yeah, and a couple of other things it does. It improves your wound healing. So if you get a cut or something like that, it's much faster, and also enhances your cooking. And of course, the flavor is in there too. So
it does, yes, exactly. So think about how you can get that collagen into some of your other meals. Whether it be your own natural bone broths or some collagen like from Great Lakes Gelatin that might help you out.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
The number here is 877-927-6648. Give us a call if you'd like.
You've heard Nico de Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back. I'm Paige Clarke, and I'm with Nico de Haan, and we're living a primal lifestyle. You know, Nico, what a great article here. A lot of people aren't aware of the really high incidence of macular degeneration today. In fact, It's some staggering statistic, like 70% of all 70-year-olds are developing or have macular degeneration.
Yes, my mother had it. She started at about in her mid-70s, started having problems with that. And I always wondered if it was tied to the diet.
It's completely tied to the diet, and Dr. Marshall lectures on this quite a bit, that we simply do not get the phytochemicals that are responsible for keeping the macula healthy in our diet. In fact, that is the truth. We just do not get the nutrition. There is no such thing as eating a healthy diet. We spend hours talking about it and getting everything that you need.
Right.
We absolutely have to supplement, but what we want to teach people is we supplement with targeted superfoods. And some of those superfoods would be what? Bone broth. I mean, it's not in the average diet, but you're going to have to do it, or collagen.
Right.
So getting back to the macular degeneration, a lot of people don't realize that there's some key antioxidants or phytochemicals that are involved. And the carotenoids are particularly important in protecting the eyes from macular degeneration. These are lutein, zeaxanthin, and beta-carotene. A lot of people think of beta-carotene as the carotenoid that turns into vitamin A, but actually provitamin A, or the fat-soluble vitamin A, very important for eyesight. Foods, say even like the moringa oleifera that I love, they believe it could prevent blindness worldwide because it has that much vitamin A. I recommend a supplement that I carry in my office called Ocuven, because it has something like 10 times it's purely a food in a capsule. And it has the zeaxanthin and the lutein. And all we recommend is after you kind of build up your reserves for it, then you take these capsules 1-3 times a week. And you can literally prevent this horrible eye disease that involves, and is a loss of vision. And as all diseases are, they're related to inflammation, and inflammation is a result of not getting enough nutrition and having too many toxins.
This is actually age-related macular degeneration is the way to define it. I'm sure there must be another one, but age-related.
Oh, no, age-related simply tells you you've gone a long time without getting good nutrition.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it,
isn't it amazing? They say, age-related, or, the bottom line is it's inflammation. The body's inflamed because the cells can't perform like they're supposed to.
Right.
So they start performing as they're not supposed to.
Right.
And it's because they did not get the raw materials that they needed. Yeah, and it has
a lot to do with the proper fat breakdown, essential for the impact on these types of tissues that we have. And that's an epidemic here, as we know.
Well, we know that we don't digest our food, and the liver gallbladder channels in Chinese medicine are very important, as you know, in digesting and assimilating our food. And in Chinese medicine, we know when there's troubles with the eyes, dry eyes, you perhaps are not digesting your foods, the gallbladder's a little clogged up, but what's to diagnose? I mean, everyone over 40 in this country really has a gallbladder deficiency, stress. And then, when you see itchy red eyes, liver allergies, you can pretty much know the liver ain't happy.
Yeah, and it says here, too, the strategies we employ are successful for many individuals. And these strategies also involve improvement in the status of the liver, the eye, the GI tract, the gallbladder. This is all intertwined.
As I was just saying.
That makes sense because that's the whole digestive process we have involved there.
It's, really, guys, we live and die in the gut.
Yeah.
I mean, death begins in the colon and the gut, so we really need to realize that when our gut is inflamed, it affects all levels of our assimilation and our digestion. So that's really the best kept secret, is in starting to help make sure that you have ideal eye health.
Start with the digestive system.
Ideal health everywhere in your body is, let's start looking at the gut.
Yeah. So the number one thing, and they say here, is work from the GI tract outward. And then it says interior terrain influence absorption, so start clean. I'm just wondering, Paige, is this confusing to people because when it says start clean, I mean, how does a person start clean? Is that by detoxing?
Well, you've really got to restore your ability to digest, because if you take in nutrition and you can't absorb it, then you're just kind of, in a vicious circle.
So we have two problems. One could be that if you've been eating a high carbohydrate diet, you may have problems digesting the protein. But the other way around, if you were having, say, a high-fat diet or a high-protein diet and you want to switch over, perhaps you're not digesting your carbohydrates.
Well, correct. Well, what we know that many people are not digesting many of the three food groups. Unfortunately, there's some people that don't digest all three. I mean, they've been stressed, and this is not any judgment on anyone, but particularly the health of the macula of the eye is actually replenished via the carotenoids. And the carotenoids, like beta-carotene, and as we mentioned, the lutein and the zeaxanthin, they're hindered if there's the presence of certain bacteria in the gut. The H. pylori bacteria usually hangs out in the stomach, creates ulcers. These are bacteria that interfere very early in the digestive process, so you really need to, check out your, again, come back to your inner terrain. If there's the best thing that you can do is heal your gut and support your digestion, and that's what I do in my practice, is help people heal that.
Well-functioning bile is vital. So here's another part of the other end of it.
Well, you never want to lose your gallbladder.
Right, and bile acids are made from cholesterol in the liver. So here we have the importance of cholesterol. If you don't have enough cholesterol, if it's not working properly, then you're not making the bile, which can't break down
well, what the bile does is, if you can think about bile, is the bile secreted by the liver, stored in the gallbladder, and optimally secreted during the hours of 10 to 2. So it's best to eat your highest fat meal, whether you have a gallbladder or not, between those hours. But the bile is actually, think of it like soap.
You're talking about 10 to 2 in the morning.
No, 10 to 2 in the morning. Yeah, lunchtime. That's why our heaviest meal should be at lunch.
Okay.
So what you want to do is understand that your bile helps to emulsify fat, like soap does. So when you add soap to greasy water, it helps to break down the fattiness of it. So that's why it's so important to keep your bile flowing. So, oftentimes exogenous ox bile, particularly to people, if you don't have a gallbladder, you need to work with a knowledgeable natural health practitioner to make sure you're getting something to keep your bile nice and slippery. Also lecithin. A teaspoon of lecithin, which is a soy-based product, but there's very clean, soy that there's clean soy, so I recommend that. But the fat-soluble vitamins of lutein and zeaxanthin are essential to replenish the macula, and then they require being emulsified or broken down to this micellized state so that you can absorb them.
And the last thing they say too is strategies to raise your HDLs. So you need to raise your HDLs to a higher number. Sometimes it's too low, and you can do this with exercise. You can use a little red wine, helps. You can do what you call your oil
strength
change.
Training, and eating more saturated fats, healthy saturated fats, are going to help elevate the HDL.
And get the bad fats out of there, like
get your trans fats out, and limit the seed or even the polyunsaturated seed oils. We know small amounts. But
and I'll put this in the next newsletter so you guys can read this. Not the next one, I've got that done. But
remember, these diseases are preventable. When the body gets what it needs, the body can heal itself.
You got it. We'll be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. You know, Paige, I have a lot of people that I know take painkillers, things like aspirin especially. It's been around for a long time, and I always thought myself, well, a little aspirin now and then probably doesn't hurt you, but I remember my wife, she was taking those half doses for a while, and I finally convinced her to get off of those things. But there's a lot of
when you
confusion.
say that,
Yeah.
when you said that, a lot of people taking it for pain relief, but there's a lot of people taking it for blood thinning.
Yeah.
And, we also have to take a look at this synthetic form of salicylic acid or aspirin that the German company Bayer created and tested over during the World War II and when we had concentration camps and so forth. So what I was going to say is that Hippocrates in the 5th century used often this bitter powder extract that came from the willow bark because it reduced fevers and it eased aches and pains. And I like to say anytime we could take the natural form, we can turn to, the creator's pharmacy who knows exactly how to mix the complementary compounds so that there's no contraindications. We're much better off.
Like the compounding pharmacies used to do.
Right. So, while salicylic acid is found naturally in plants as salicylates, acetylsalicylic acid, or aspirin, does not exist in nature and is not formed as byproducts of natural salicylate compounds. It's produced only through industrial synthesis, okay? Now, the situation that I'm concerned about is that there may be other more healthy ways to get anti-inflammatory actions than this synthetic form, and there may be even better ways to accomplish keeping your blood slippery and thin than this compound that unfortunately I am concerned creates bleeding in older people as the gut, because although they're thinning their blood, they're also thinning out their gut mucosa, and then we also sometimes hear of ulcers and things like that happening.
Right.
So, maybe at the end of this article, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But you had some points, you had some research you wanted to...
up on the telestrator here, I've just got, these are all different studies. Aspirin does not prevent cardiovascular events in diabetes, mellitus, or
diabetes mellitus, which is diabetes.
Right. Long-term low-dose aspirin treatment has little effect on the prevention of thromboembolism and initial
venous thromboembolism.
Right.
So basically, it doesn't doesn't appear to help on blood clots. This is research from PubMed.
Recurring heart attacks.
Regular use of aspirin or NSAIDs or acetaminophen increases the risk of hearing loss in men. So,
these are studies after
ulcers.
studies after studies of, and these are all on aspirin.
Aspirin adversely affects cerebral blood flow in vivo, which may explain why research has shown it may increase the risk of ischemic stroke, which is a bleed. Now, when we read these things, gastro, you're going a little fast.
Yeah.
They increase the risk of ulcers. Given after aneurysm treatment does not appreciably reduce the occurrence of stroke. Look, the reason we're reading these folks is to say that contrary to the fact that it's kind of handed out like candy at the doctor's office, particularly if you're over a certain age, there's a lot of evidence that indicates it may not be the innocent little over-the-counter medicine that everyone thinks,
Yeah, they're even giving people baby aspirin, I guess, which is the half dose.
Yeah, let me quote this.
Okay.
Taking a baby aspirin, which is an 81 milligram dose, is considered safe. It's considered safer, which is a relative to a 325 milligram adult dose, but it is known to cause widespread and significant gastroduodenal damage. A study published in 2009 in the journal Current Medical Research and Opinion titled Gastroduodenal Toxicity of Low-Dose Acetylsalicylic Acid, a comparison with non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. So, folks, I get very concerned when I hear and see people that are coming in with ulcers. Oh, I had an ulcer. You find out that they've been taking this. And, of course, I am not a medical doctor, but I want you to take a look at what the research says and the research that the doctors should be reading as well. Aspirin is a risk factor for colonic diverticular bleeding. And we're hearing of a lot of more digestive issues where there's having excessive bleeding. Remember, this aspirin, although it's just a little baby aspirin, it is not the salicylate that produced the natural effect. It is a chemicalized version, and on a long-term basis, I believe it could be dangerous. So what are some of the researched aspirin alternatives? Okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. Because
one of my favorites is pycnogenol. Pycnogenol, a human study in 1999 in a journal for thrombotic research found that pycnogenol, which is like a bioflavonoid, it was superior to aspirin at inhibiting smoking-induced clotting without the significant, potentially life-threatening increase in bleeding time associated with aspirin use. The abstract on the research on pycnogenol is well worth the read. It is a bioflavonoid. It comes from the maritime pine bark. So again, in many of the whole food supplements that I recommend people include in their diet, I don't consider it even supplementing because it's not synthetic, you'll see this as an ingredient, a bioflavonoid complex.
And this is maybe why you see some animals chewing on some bark of a tree once in a while, just to get that.
See, there you go, because it's in vegetables, salicylic acid.
So this ties in what we talked about earlier.
Salicylic acid content is higher in vegetarians and vegans because they eat more, so they might have less pain because they have this natural form. The other thing that wasn't mentioned in this article, but I do want to share that there's other I want to call them enzymes that you can take in between meals that actually help prevent clotting. The nattochinases, the serrapeptidase, which is an enzyme secreted by the silkworm. These, literally, it's actually a relative of that if you go into the hospital and you have a clot, they give that to you intravenously, but you can take it as a supplementary food.
Cool.
So, these are things that we want to take a look at, and by utilizing resources such as GreenMed Info, which is the world's largest natural database of published, peer-reviewed research from NIH, PubMed, but reviewing natural substances. The reason your doctor's not seeing it is he doesn't have a pretty little drug rep coming in and saying, "Did you see the latest research on walnuts?"
I'm amazed that these are studies after study after study. There's probably 30 studies in there specifically on aspirin, all negative things. So, and even Chapman in the chat rooms talking, almost everybody with heart problems has the 81 dose aspirin.
Oh, hey, how about drinking a little Primal Edge? It's got garlic in it. Garlic keeps your blood. Have a little garlic. Throw a little clove of garlic, but while you're at it, put some parsley in your smoothie or something. Folks. there are wonderful foods that produce the same benefits, and we really have the benefit of I call it our global consciousness, the internet. It's our collaborative knowledge. So let's start using some of these things that are designed to. The body knows what to do with natural components.
If you're getting a headache all the time and you feel like you need an aspirin or another type of drug, maybe take a little task and write things down, what you're eating and what's causing these headaches.
Right, and how about take a little lemongrass and peppermint and put it right here on the temples and the back of the neck.
Okay, folks, we have one more segment coming up. Please pick up our Health Signals newsletter and some Primal Edge, and we'll be right back. The number here is 877-927-6648.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Join John Logan as he teaches you trading techniques utilizing the TAS Profile Scanner. The Global Market Pulse, next on TFNN.
Welcome back, listeners. We just were talking on the segment before a little bit about
garlic.
Garlic. Well, I mentioned that garlic has been known for years to help keep our blood slippery and clear, and we'll talk a little bit about what are some of those characteristics in garlic that do that. But the new study just came out that garlic cures 100% of all warts.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, this is powerful.
And
Nature
corn.
is
And corn.
and corns, which are more caused from the pressure. The wart is caused by the human papillomavirus. There's multiple strains of the human papillomavirus, and we've known for years that garlic is a very antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal.
Right.
It is a spice, as you and I often say. The spices are God's, the Creator's medicine cabinet.
Yep.
And so, sometimes we need to, again, their flavors keep us from overeating them, right?
Right.
You're kind of tying into our earlier conversation.
Right.
But this research showed that, a lot of treatments that they're using in medicine today, cryosurgery or keratolytics or electrocautery, I mean, these techniques, which produce a lot of office visits, and that's why, because they don't actually always work. Although I think that the electrical, I like the idea of the applying electricity because that's important.
Yep.
But these approaches are not fully successful, and in some cases, warts reappear. In the study, treatment with garlic extract resulted in no reoccurrence of warts during the follow-up observation period. And removal of corns by surgery, which is practiced in most clinics, can be painful and costly. Treatment with garlic extract appears to be the most convenient modality. But let's talk about why. What do the researchers identify as the following 4 possible mechanisms of garlic's anti-wart and anti-corn properties? Well, it would be no surprise as we go over these 4 that these might be things you'd like coursing through your veins, keeping that blood thin and healthy. Well, it's antiviral. The HPV virus is the primary cause of the common wart, and garlic's antiviral properties are well established in the literature and research.
And the second thing is anti-tumor. Warts are actively HPV-associated growth, not unlike benign tumors. Garlic has been found to destroy a wide range of cancer cells.
Yeah, you can view a list of over 160 different diseases that garlic has been studied to have potential therapeutic value. Again, checking in sources like Green Med Info that we love so much. It's also immune modulatory. The researchers noted that, while the mechanisms of garlic's anti-wart and anti-corn activity is unknown, enhancements of the immune response are enhanced when garlic is in the picture. And this is really important, the fibrinolinic activity. Fibrin, breaking down fibrin, folks. Fibrin, high fibrinogen levels in our blood is associated with higher risks of cardiovascular events and strokes. Yeah, so it kind of goes in there and it observes that it kind of breaks down the fibrin on the corn.
It says the application of garlic extract on a corn caused the removal of the corn from its place.
Right, it's breaking down that fibrous tissue, the fibrinolinic.
And it can just fall right off.
Exactly, and that's what happens.
Yep.
And that's kind of what happens to stuff in your blood. I have a protocol that people that work with me that are ready and willing to make the changes. I put them on this protocol of an old tincture that's been around for 150 years, and we call it a circulatory tree cleanout. And what do you think the main ingredient in this fermented tincture is?
Could it be garlic?
Could it be? And could it be 2 different strains? One, particularly bear garlic. This is not the garlic you get in the grocery store, but really powerful.
Yes.
Because what we know is that a lot of these conditions that are, heart, diabetes, and kidney disease, hey, we heard of those in this country, are related to circulatory stuff.
So I think the takeaway today from the program, folks, is eat nutritionally dense food. Find out where the nutrition is and go after it.
Medicine.
That's right. Go to your farmer and find the good food, and I think you'll be all right. Thanks for sticking around, folks. Really appreciate it. See you next week.
Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. sequence. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.